Domains are kind of weird, and I say weird because they don't really apply to all pantheons and mythologies. They're not a one-size-fits-all type of thing. They do work in certain mythologies, like Greek mythology, they work very well. Zeus is the god of the sky. Dionysus is the god of wine. Ares is the god of war, and Athena is the god of also war, but smart war, tactics and stuff. But that framework doesn't really work for other mythologies like Norse mythology, where you take someone like Odin, who is sometimes categorized as a god of war, and sometimes categorized as a god of stories, and sometimes categorized as a god of tricksters, and none of those really apply to him properly. He does go to war, he does tell stories, he is a trickster, but he's not really a god of any of those things. And that's why it always kind of bugged me that in the D&D default settings, everything has a domain. And every single mythology has domain. That's certainly one way to frame it, but that's not necessarily the best way to frame it. I don't really know where I'm going with this. Bastion was a game that was released in 2011, and I thought it did something really interesting with its god domains stuff, mostly because it immediately grabbed my attention and gave me a very clear picture of what those gods are. The way that they work in the game is you just use them and they provide you extra experience and stuff, but they also give you a handicap while playing the game. But rather than using complementary domains for the gods, complementary domains being like, Zeus is the god of the sky and storms, or, being the god of war and of bravery, or being the god of the mind and psychic blast attacks. Rather than being complementary like that, they had some complementary. I think they had like 3 of them. I'll put a list of them up here, but they also had contrasting domains. They had the god of health and atrophy. They had the god of thirst and food, I think. I can't remember. It's been a very long time since I played the game. I did very minimal research, but I felt like those gave me a very clear picture of the gods using contrasting domains rather than complementary domains. And I feel like complementary domains are the natural way to go. You want to say, oh, this guy does this and also this adjacent thing. But I feel like it's much more interesting to say that this god covers the entire spectrum of the thing. This god is not just the god of, plenty and being full. This is also the god of thirst and, desire for more. It is the entire package, not just this end of the package, if that makes sense. I'm not sure if it does, but it's something that gave me a very, interesting feeling. I liked it. I don't really like the D&D default gods. They don't really jump out at me. They're not really very interesting to me. I don't remember a single one of them ever since I stopped playing in the default D&D settings, and I honestly didn't remember them while I was playing in the default settings either. I think I played a Pathfinder game in my very first time playing any sort of TTRPG, and I had a dwarf paladin of Morma, I think. I'll correct me if I'm wrong when I'm editing this, but my point is, I still remember the Bastion Pantheon. I don't remember their names, but I still think about them. I think about how it was kind of cool how they presented that, and how I got a very quick and immediate picture of them in a game where the gods weren't a main point of the storytelling in Bastion, but they were a part that stuck in my head. And I think in a game that's entirely played in the imagination of the mind, TTRPGs, I think it's important to have things that stick in the head. So maybe when you're trying to make a pantheon of gods, rather than going for complementary domains, you go for contrasting domains. Or no domains at all. I mean, maybe you go full Norse and they're just guys just hanging out. I don't know. Do what you want. It's your game. This video was a little bit rambly. I'm a little bit frantic today. Anyway, that's the video. Hope you enjoyed. I'll be posting something next week. Good night.